How's it going, everyone? As always, my name is Jimmy Champane, and this is my channel all about horror movies. If you like slashers, zombies, monsters, pretty much anything that'll cut you up and, do things that I can't say on YouTube, this is the channel for you. Before I jump into it all, I'd just really appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel. I would love to hit 100,000 subscribers on this channel. If you didn't know, I've got two other channels, PS Ready, Deck Ready. PS Ready, well past 100,000 subs. I've got the silver play button, but with this being my first and favorite channel, I would love to have a silver play button that just says Jimmy Champane on it. The people on PS Ready don't even believe it's my name. It's crazy. So if you've been here for a while or this is your first time on the channel, help me out by subscribing, and if you're feeling extra generous, set your notifications to all. All right, let's start out with this Friday the 13th news. So if you're not caught up on everything happening with Friday the 13th, there's apparently a new movie in the Hollywood world of like development hell where they can't get a studio to actually get started on one, but they're actively looking to start up a new Friday the 13th movie, which is great. In the meantime, though, we do have one official thing coming, which is a new show from A24 on Peacock called Crystal Lake. As for what this show is going to be, for some reason the people who are working on it are working overtime to make sure that it's as vague and as confusing as possible, but basically it seems like it's going to be some sort of reboot of the entire franchise. It seems like it's going all the way back to the Pamela Voorhees days, where it's going to start out with her at least being the killer, and then it might evolve into Jason either growing up under the lake or coming out as a child killer, or like at some point it's going to evolve into Jason being the killer. I've read the quotes here on the channel before from the showrunner Brian Fuller, where he said, "We kind of have carte blanche to do whatever we want." At first, people didn't think Jason would be able to show up in the show with the hockey mask at Camp Crystal Lake, the classic Jason that we all know and love. But as far as the lawsuit shook out, with Victor Miller basically winning and getting control of a lot of the rights, he has to work with Sean Cunningham for the other half of the rights. And the whole basis of that lawsuit in the first place was for Victor Miller to actually be able to make money, which is both their goals, right? Like they both want to take this franchise that's $100 million plus franchise, get some content out there and rake in the cash for either them or their kids. So the best way to do that is to work together on something new. The only cast member we know of so far for the Crystal Lake series is Adrienne King. She played the final girl in the original Friday the 13th, so obviously she's not going to be playing the final girl in this one, mainly because she's old now. She's like way too old to play the classic Friday the 13th final girl, so she'll play some sort of new character. I would honestly not be shocked if she was playing Pamela Voorhees. That would be a kind of cool role reversal for her, and since the actual actress who played Pamela Voorhees back in the day is no longer with us, it'd be kind of cool to bring in this older star from the franchise that goes all the way back to the original movie back into the franchise as the actual villain. Unfortunately, last year there was that huge writer's strike which took place for a matter of months, and initially it was reported that this show was going to film in just a few weeks in March of 2024, which I don't know, kind of bummed me out. I mean, if it's filming in California, that's one thing. You can basically film any time of year. There's still going to be leaves on the trees. There's going to be hot weather and everything you need for a summer camp. But if they want to get the tone right, they need to learn from Halloween 2018 and realize that filming in the fall or the early winter is the best way to match the atmosphere with what's going on in the show. So I'm going to go bad news, good news. The bad news is because of that writer's strike, that March 2024 filming date actually got pushed back, but the good news is that it's going to film this summer. The report is coming from Friday the 13th franchise.com, which is actually pretty reliable. There's a Halloween movies franchise website as well that I used to use for news all the time. They still update it pretty regularly. There's obviously nothing really going on right now outside of the news we had last year with Halloween, but in the meantime, these fan blogs are the best place to find all the latest news. So I have no problem believing that they're going to start filming this show this summer. This video is sponsored by Magic Spoon. Nothing brings me back to the days of being a kid and watching late night horror movies on VHS than eating a nice sugary bowl of cereal. I don't do that too much anymore because I've been trying to eat better, and that's why I was so excited when Magic Spoon reached out to sponsor this video. It's basically great cereal that's made with 21st century ingredients, and I love that it's high in protein. They have a variety pack that comes in 4 delicious flavors, including fruity, frosted, cocoa, and peanut butter. And Magic Spoon fits a variety of lifestyles because it's grain-free, gluten-free, wheat-free, soy-free, it's made with all natural ingredients, and it's keto-friendly and full of protein. It's the same great taste you remember, but with natural, all grown-up ingredients. Magic Spoon cereal has 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams grams of protein and 4 to 5 grams of net carbs in each serving, and each of those servings is only 140 calories. So when you're ready to try Magic Spoon, click the link down in the description to grab a variety pack today, and remember to use the code JimmyC at checkout to get $5 off any order. Or you can just head to magicspoon.com/JimmyC. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed by a 100% happiness guarantee. So if you don't like it for any reason, they'll give you your money back, no questions asked. Click the link below or use the QR code on screen to grab a variety pack today, and use the code JimmyC for $5 off your order. Huge shout out once again to Magic Spoon for sponsoring this video. They also point out in the article that once this show starts filming, that's when the floodgates are really going to be open. That's not going to be a surprise to anyone watching this channel. It wasn't so bad during the filming of Halloween 2018. They did it over in, I think, South Carolina. I know they did one in South Carolina and 2 in North Carolina, or the reverse, but still they did it in the Carolinas. There was a few leaks of like sets and everything like that, and a few shots of Allison walking with her friends, but we never really got any actual shots of the Shape because a lot of his sequences took place at night, or they took place out at Laurie's house in the woods, which was pretty secluded. But when Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends started filming, we got everything. Even though they filmed a lot of the flashback on a soundstage with the Myers house and Dr. Loomis and everything like that, they also filmed a lot of the stuff outside, like when the Shape kind of stalks Lonnie in that new scene that they added to that awesome flashback. So we actually got a pretty good reveal of the flashback Michael Myers mask very early on into the filming. Halloween Kills script also leaked, which really sucked, so we all knew the plot of the movie before it came out. It wasn't that big of a deal because with a Halloween movie, you kind of like know where it's going, and with the way Halloween 2018 wrapped up, we had a pretty good idea of where the plot was going to go, but still, having the entire script leak gave people a reason to kind of shit all over it and making their hill to die on hating on Halloween Kills for some of the characters that they killed off. I thought that movie was pretty good. I've actually started to like it more as time has gone on, and yeah, with Halloween Ends, everything with that movie leaked as well. So you could take that experience and kind of like transplant it over to Friday the 13th and say, yeah, a lot of the stuff that they're going to film this summer is most likely going to leak. There's drone shots. If they're filming at a camp, everyone's going to know where it is. Specifically in California, there's only a few camps that people can film at, I think. I'm actually kind of curious what camp they're going to film at. There is that classic film set that's on a lake that I think you see in Death Proof. You see it in American Horror Story 1984. It's already kind of set up to be a summer camp. It'd be really easy to build one out for Camp Crystal Lake, but there's also an abandoned summer camp out in the woods in Big Bear that I've been to. Vinny, who played Michael Myers in my Halloween 2018 fan film Happy Halloween, he actually filmed quite a bit of Never Hike in the Snow at this abandoned summer camp. Cortland, who directed Happy Halloween with me and him actually went out there and filmed a Phasmophobia in real life sort of Twitch stream that PG, who was in our movie, he also streamed it live around Halloween, and it's a great setup for a summer camp. But yeah, I'm really curious about everything with this show. I want to know who the cast is. I want to know what the plot is. I want to know what parts of the Friday the 13th franchise it's going to focus on. Like, is season 1 only going to cover Pamela Voorhees being the killer? Is Jason going to be introduced early? One show that I think they should look to, honestly, in terms of like how to do something like this is The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live. I just started this show. I'm a chronic Walking Dead fan. I love this universe. I love this franchise. I really loved Dead City and Daryl Dixon, but The Ones Who Live is like a step above. And the cool thing about that show is they don't stretch out the whole Rick and Michonne coming back together thing. The first episode, the very last shot of the entire thing, is Michonne kind of slicing through these CRM operatives, one of who is Rick, and she pulls off his mask and they meet at the end of the episode. The second episode, apparently the plot is that they're going to do the whole thing again from Michonne's standpoint and end again with them meeting up. And then the third episode, it'll be like the actual plot of the show, but that's what I think they need to do with Friday the 13th. I don't think the fans can really handle not having Jason for a very long time. So the classic trope of like building up an entire season with this character that everyone's kind of like iffy on, that being Pamela Voorhees, and then ending the season with a stinger tease of Jason Voorhees. Yes, that will build a lot of initial hype, but then the wait for season 2 is where you're going to lose a lot of people. I think they need to introduce adult Jason as early as possible and just give the fans what they want, which is adult Jason going ham on a bunch of teenagers at a summer camp with a machete and a whole variety of other weapons. Previous times when I've talked about this show, I said it would be great to have someone like Kane Hodder reprise the mask. It would be awesome to have Derek Mears, who played him in the remake, come back. But honestly, knowing that this is going to be its new own reintroduction to the entire thing, I think they need, outside of Adrienne King, of course, because she's already cast, I think they need to kind kind of like just reboot, just get all new people in, get an all new cast of characters, don't rely on nostalgia, don't do the classic requel thing. That was very novel back in like 2015 to 2020 to have these classic characters come back, like Laurie Strode, Sally Hardesty, and Neve Campbell coming back as Sydney in Scream 5. That worked at the time. It was a good way to get people to come into the theater, but a big chunk of the budgets kind of goes towards bringing back these legacy characters. So knowing all of that and how everything shook out with both fan reception and not using these characters correctly and not really having a reason for them to be there outside of to play support for all the new characters, I don't think there should be a legacy character coming back and being like, I fought Jason, I'm going to show you how to do it, because that's already been done to death, A, and B, it's never really done all that well. And the cool thing is A24 has an extremely vested interest in making this show as good as possible, because the only reason they're really making it is because of Beau is Afraid. So their old model was to sink like $5 or $10 million into a movie, maybe like 20 million at the max, send it to the box office, it makes like 50 or 60 million, it's a profit across the board, and then they take the profits and they invest in another smaller horror movie, or they buy a smaller horror movie for nothing from a festival like Talk to Me, which they did last year. Then as they got established directors like Ari Aster, who they wanted to keep around obviously after his movies like Hereditary and Midsommar, which are some of their most profitable movies ever, but then the result is they have to play ball with him when he comes back and asks for 35 million to make Beau is Afraid. So they say, hey, you got 2 wins under your belt, you made Midsommar, you made Hereditary, those are cool, like sort of esoteric, kind of high art horror movies that really captured the box office. We have no reason not to give you this money. And then he kind of pulled a bait and switch and made the most bizarre movie ever for way more money than they've ever spent on a movie, and they paid the price for it. They lost a lot of money on it. It made like $11 million in the box office. They would have had to make at least 70 to break even, so they were kind of forced to go for bigger genre fare, right? Like, we know they got Friday the 13th, but they were also apparently in a huge bidding war around October with Miramax to get the TV rights for Halloween as well. They weren't able to get those Halloween rights though, so they really have a vested interest here in making some money on Friday the 13th, and the only way to do that is to make a good show that gets renewed for multiple seasons, and then they can ask for more money from Universal and Peacock, and it keeps A24 alive, which is good, and it results in a better Friday the 13th product, which is even better. What I really don't want to see from this is like a modern audience's version of Friday the 13th. I know having Brian Fuller on board basically guarantees it, but I'm going to hold out hope until we start seeing some stuff from this show. I'm not talking politics or anything like that, because I don't talk politics on this channel. I just don't want the roles reversed, right? Like, I don't want this badass Laurie Strode type character to be the main focus and to become the real villain who Jason should be scared of. Like, I don't need that. I need a powerful, evil, strong Jason who has no motivation, who's not like this sad character that they're going to rehabilitate. I want Jason to be evil and to just kill people. That's all I want at the end of the day, and if they can achieve that goal, they can hit that bullseye, I don't think there's any reason to worry about this show. So yeah, as far as Friday the 13th goes, I'm glad to see some movement here. I'm hoping by the end of the year we start hearing about this new Halloween stuff, and we also start hearing about whatever is going on with the Nightmare on Elm Street, because these franchises, they need to go on. I see all the people in the comments like, they need to kill these franchises, but like, they don't. You just have to stop watching them, right? Like, it doesn't hurt you if they make movies. It hurts you if you watch them and choose not to like them, which is ultimately what I think a lot of people do. So yeah, that about covers it for today's video. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I'm really curious, would you like me to start doing updates on The Walking Dead here on the channel? It's gotten pretty tough lately to find horror news to talk about. It's definitely not like it was back in the days of like 2015, 2016, when there was new stuff getting announced all the time. So I would love to cover some stuff like The Walking Dead here. Please let me know what you think down in the comments below. Remember to subscribe and set your notifications to all if you haven't already. And as always, my name is Jimmy Champane. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and shape on.